You can always call me on the phone and I can do it absentee.
Oh, yeah. If we want to do that, we need to revamp some rules. I think we'd still be safe, Mike. Sounds like to me.
Okay, city attorney's report.
And I don't have a report tonight.
Department head.
Evening. The main order of business I worked on last week was a large grant to the Department of Local Affairs. We put in a Tier 2 grant to support the CDOT project, reconstruction of Highway 67 and 115, which is going to be about a $3.7 million CDOT project. Our match is going to be $2.2 million project, and our grant request is for $1.2 million. And so I think this is a good example of a good local government and multi-agency project. We're going to, Don and Dory and Council and Mike, everybody, waited to do our last East Main project, and so we could use our money as grant match and get more out of that. So we held off on this project till CDOT was ready. CDOT is now ready. So we went to DOLA to use our $1 million in water placement money to get money to finish stormwater improvements. So everybody notices stormwater comes down and goes right by Mr. Upton's place and floods a number of people.
Doesn't go by.
Doesn't go by. It stays for a long time. So we put a grant request in to use our water money to match stormwater money to finally take care of that, and CDOT has an obligation to partner on that. So I set up a meeting next Thursday to work with CDOT as well as our water engineer. So that was my main order of business. And so the other thing is that I'm working on an RFP for the design for Pikes Peak. So as we start to finish out the project in front of Carl's Jr., we're also now working on the same type of project to redesign Pikes Peak to take care of the trees that are ailing, to take care of add bike lanes, to deal with the stormwater runoff, and basically come up with a design for that street. So, one of my loves is historic preservation, but I know that everybody loves, making sure all the sidewalks and the streets are built right, and the water lines that are 100 years old are replaced. And so, there's two major projects going on right now. It's about as much as you can do for a small town. And then the last thing is to try to get the RFP out for the planning services to work on our master plan will be one of my goals for the week. So.
Thank you, Ray. Any other department head? Sam the man.
I want to let you know that the farmer's market wanted to donate 2 signs for Pioneer Park for the use of it. So they had 2 signs made. They had the high school welding shop make them. They're powder coated. We received them today. One is a 16-foot sign announcing Pioneer Park. I'm assuming you guys remember the stage back in the day had Pioneer up there. Well, since we lost that stage, we lost that sign. So nobody actually knows from out of town this is the Pioneer Park or not. So it's going to go on the south side of that pavilion. Cool. We're going to trim that pine tree up so we can see it. And the other one's a smaller one. We're going to put it on the southwest corner where it says City of Florence, a GLT. And that'll be coming up in the next few weeks. We'll be installing.
Who did you say is donating?
Farmers Market.
That's great. Good.
We'll be putting it up in the next couple of weeks.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, just thank the crew for the excellent job you did on the elevator.
No problem. I'll do it.
Okay, it should be all the department heads by now. City manager's report.
Okay, I'll take a little bit longer than I normally do today. Start off, Dory was not able to make today, so Dina Lozano doing her first city council meeting. I want to introduce her to everybody who doesn't know Dina. Let's see, Sam Elston today during committee meeting, the subject came up about painting out on Main Street on a particular problematic area. Immediately his crew did it, so fantastic job by Sam jumping on that right away. Really appreciate the responsiveness of our Public Works Department. Wade, I think people don't realize what the demands that we have put on Wade recently. Wade, we found out when Christy from DOLA was here on Monday that we could make it in and get this grant in as kind of a marker, but it had to be done by Friday. Wade got that done in 4 days, so fantastic job by Wade. Meantime, he's also really focusing heavily on economic development, helping us move some projects forward, so we're really happy with him. Mike De Laurentiis, our police chief, is actually going to Chicago on his own dime to help make sure that our project is moving forward, that we're able to get things going. Spent countless times, hours and hours working with Mike and these development group to make sure this gets done. So not only does he give us top-notch police chief service, he gives us a lot more than that. He puts as many hours into economic development as most economic development directors would. With that, a couple other things to go through. I don't know how much you realize, our council realize, I think you do, but the public may not realize how much of value Mary Dice brings to us. She's really got our financial numbers in order. When we tell you where we're at financially, it's actually accurate. And that's really important to us. That's something that we really come to appreciate. Tomorrow begins the petition process for our city council positions. So you can come in and pick up your petitions, get those from Doris. She says they will probably not be ready until about noon. So for all potential candidates, if you're interested, for Ward 1, potentially 2 positions, Ward 2, 1 position, Ward 3, 1 position, and the mayoral position. All of those, you can come and pick those up tomorrow. In any event, they have to be turned in with the proper amount of registered voters, etc., meeting all the requirements by the 24th of July, which is a Monday 3 weeks from today.
August.
August.
4th of July.
Did I go back to July again? We did that last, okay. August.
It's going to be a little tough to get in.
24th, well, I wrote 7, that's why. 24th of August, for those who can't time travel. And then Mr. Edwards' funeral, for those who don't know, I think most of you know this, will be at 2 p.m. this Wednesday at the E-Free Church in Canyon. For those who don't know where that is, it's basically across the street from the Abbey. There will be a reception to follow at the Shadow Hills Clubhouse restaurant there. And then the final thing that I wanted to say, this has been a great council to work with. Mr. Edwards, I think we all have, he's an incredibly amusing person. He's helped us lighten things up. He had a gift to know when to focus and when to try to make things a little bit lighter. I personally will miss him, and I think our entire council and our whole community will miss what he's brought to the table. And I thank him for having served this community and for being a part of my life. Thank you.
I'll make the motion to pay the bills.
Second.
First, second, roll call, please.
Councilman Villagrana.
Aye.
Councilman Baker.
Aye.
Councilor Henniger.
Aye.
Councilman Upton.
Aye.
Mayor Orr.
Aye. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Oh, did you want to say something?
Just one thing real quick.
Okay.
In reference to last week's
Okay.
unfortunate events. I'd just like everybody to know Mr. Patterson was notified that night. He stayed up all night, monitored what was going on, and in the morning he was very supportive of all the police officers who were there, Mel Edwards' family, and I just want to thank him personally for what he did for us that night and the follow-up that has transpired over the week with some of the officers talking to some counseling and stuff. So thank you, and I thought everybody should know how he supports us all the time. Thank you.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.